Good morning, everyone. On this Tuesday morning, I wanted to make a video, almost like a correction video, I guess. I don't know. Anyways, last video I did was about the Prime Effect, and I gave my opinion on it. But after watching the last game, Colorado versus Colorado State, and just kind of thinking about it and listening to other opinions and things like that, I think my viewpoint has changed somewhat. So just to lay this out, I still like Coach Prime and how he, at least every day before practice, he's very inspirational. I really enjoy that about him, how he can inspire young men. And I really do enjoy that. But kind of after watching the game and all that, obviously we know that and again, I'm not a humongous college football fan, so I'm not here to uber criticize anybody, because I'm not a former football player at any level. Well, flag football, but that don't count for nothing when I was a kid. But I hadn't played high school, college, or any type of professional league, Canadian football, whatever you want to call it. I hadn't done any of that. So after listening and watching that game, and we know, well, the media had said that Colorado and all that were 23-point, the Colorado State was 23-point underdogs. Obviously, everybody was hoping they were going to just whoop on Colorado State because of the things that were said by the Colorado State coach, and whatnot, and that kind of motivated everybody. And looking back on it now, I do think that a lot of the stuff that's being done is excessive, over the top. I understand that your team is probably 70-75% black, and that's fine. So you're embracing that culture, obviously, and that's fine if that's what you want to do. That's perfectly fine. But we know that Boulder, Colorado is less than 1% black population, compared to where he was at Jackson, which is like 83-85% black. And one of the opinions that keeps getting brought up is that he keeps saying that that God kind of ordains his steps and moved him here and all that. Well, he might have. I don't know. I can't say. All I can say is that the things that are going on around doesn't necessarily jive with God ordaining you to do something. Obviously, I'm not the biggest of fans of the new rap, R&B, hip hop that's out now. Too much cussing, you can't understand a word they're saying, and so forth. And I can understand why that brings doubt into people, saying that God did this, but yet you got all these hip-hop artists that do nothing but cuss and talk about gangs, violence, drugs, and all this other stuff. And that's fine. If that's what they want to listen to, that's their business. I don't know. Like I said, I think looking back on it now, that was, they came, Lil Wayne came out there singing on their way out the tunnel. I mean, it was like something out of Rocky, coming out, and, it got somebody singing, and I mean, it's just a big, it was a big spectacle. Okay, I get it. And that's fine if that's what you want to do. That's fine. it's just one of those things where, but for me, it was kind of a little over the top. And even though Colorado State kind of started the coach did anyways, started the little whatever beef, if that's what you want to call it. In the end, looking on it now, the impression I get from that game is that Colorado was the bigger, much more well-funded program, and Colorado State was the underdog, which the media said they were going to be. Well, it turned out that, Colorado State motivated themselves enough to really play. Really, Colorado State was the better team, in all honesty, until about the fourth quarter. Colorado State was the better team and should have won that game. But because they allowed the media hype and everything else to get, both teams did, because Colorado did some stupid penalties too, and all those unsportsmanlike conduct calls really hurt him in the end. I just think that the I don't know if you call them dissenting opinions about Coach Prime. You can call it whatever you want. I'm a type of person, I don't have to agree with you. If you make a valid point or make a valid argument, I can listen to it. I understand some opinions that, he has this persona that we see in his son's YouTube channel and the other two gentlemen's YouTube channels that don't necessarily jive with what you see on television, and what he's promoting. I think that, again, God called him to go to Colorado. Fine. I can't say God didn't call or did call. I can't say that. That's not for me to judge. Okay. If he said that's what God did, then that's what God did. I got to take his word for it. But the actions, as it's been pointed out, don't jive with the message. And I see that. Because you have to be careful who you surround yourself with when you keep putting it out there that God has ordained your steps and did all that. You got to be careful who you surround yourself with. Now we know that Coach Prime is a celebrity, Hall of Fame football player, was a wonderful baseball player, celebrity in his own right, business owner, entrepreneur. He's got nothing to worry about for the rest of his life. He's set, as are his children. But when you make those statements and then the actions don't necessarily jive with the statements that you're making, this is where people have problems. And this is the thing. People don't care that he does what he does. They don't care if he's arrogant or over the top or extravagant or whatever. They don't even care that he's like that. But because you brought God into the conversation, that doesn't arrogance and over extravagance and all this stuff doesn't jive with God. It doesn't. That's worldly stuff. Having all those celebrities at your football game is fine in and of itself. There's nothing wrong with that. If these celebrities are supporting you and doing all these things, then that's great. That's wonderful. It's good that you have that kind of support. But what kind of values are these celebrities promoting that jives with what you're saying that God has ordained your steps? These are, I guess, as the people who fully support Deion unequivocally would call the haters, which I wouldn't call them haters for the most part. They have their own opinion. And whether you agree with it or not is irrelevant. But I understand it. And so I've kind of had to change my feelings on Coach Prime, because I kind of agree with that. I still enjoy his inspirational messages before practices. I think that's wonderful. I think the way he inspires kids is outstanding. Heck, I'd like to play for him. But I just think that the over-the-top nature in which it's done, because they also brought up a good point. If his team was an all-white team, they'd be criticized for it. But because it's at least three quarters black team, everybody likes it and enjoys it. But when teams in the past that were similar to Colorado, with the hype and all the celebrity and everything else, now all of a sudden it's a great thing that, you know, he's doing what he's doing and doing all this other stuff, and supporting black athletes and all that. Well, he could have supported black athletes in Jackson. And this is what they're saying now. Now, I had no problem with him leaving Jackson to go into Colorado. Hey, look, you got opportunities, you got to take those opportunities. He said that out of his own mouth. You know, opportunities don't come knocking. And when they do, you got to take them. That's fine. I have no problems with him taking the job at Colorado. But if your intent was to promote black athletes, mainly because he said that in his press conference after the TCU game, then you could have stayed at Jackson and did that and really made an impact, especially on the city of Jackson. Lord knows they need all the help they can get. Boulder don't need no help. But his words, that last game in Nebraska, the city made and all the restaurants had $18 million. Now, Boulder probably isn't hurt for money. But like any city, you know, the economy affects everybody and affects everybody differently. But, I get what they're saying. Again, no issues about him moving to Colorado. I think it's great. I think that he's put Colorado back on the map. He's won 3 games in a row, even though that third one especially was real ugly. And he had even admitted it, that at least that first half was garbage. And he's right. They played like garbage. Their O-line is absolutely atrocious because Shedeur is getting sacked way too many times. Their defense, okay, it's getting better. But they got a lot of work to do. Travis Hunter, unfortunately, is out. He's one of their better players. We'll see who steps up. The tight end, I think it was number 87, got no love. He didn't get a press conference like Shedeur and Shiloh and Mata did, their kicker. He didn't get, even though he caught like 2 or 3 touchdowns. He didn't get no love. So I really don't understand it. And then I think Coach Prime was asked a question about his center, and he didn't even know the center's name. Now, that's something I really didn't like. I thought that was kind of messed up. Because that's your starting center. And, you mean to tell me you don't know your starting center's name? So that irritated me a little bit. But okay, I can get past that. 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 I can, that's fine. You don't remember your center's name. That's fine. That's cool. I get it. So, that's fine. I get it. But I don't know. I'm starting to think that there might be a facade that is behind all that we're seeing on social media and on television. And so I just have to observe a little bit more. Again, I think it's great what Coach Prime is doing at Colorado. I think it's inspired a lot of things. It's obviously inspired the school and the student body, and that's great. That's always great to see. But I just think that, we have to be real careful about what we see and what we're looking at and what we're supporting. I don't, on one hand, Coach Prime is like, I'm about all the kids. I don't look at color. But then when he does his post game, then it's about color. So I'm just trying to figure out which way is it, because that's why I like Coach Prime, because he wasn't focusing on color. He's just focusing on people doing their jobs, talent, and they just treat them like just football players. Just treat them like football players. And I think that if you just stick to that, then I think more people will really respect the fact that you're all about all the kids and not just the black kids. Now again, this opinion may rub folk the wrong way, and that's fine. And I'm not insinuating that's what he's doing. That's just what I see, what I'm hearing, and I'm comparing it to the opinion that I gave in the last video. And I've had to change it a little bit, because that last game showed me that a lot of what the media is doing is overhyping Colorado, and I don't believe that they're as good as they say they are right now. He's done great and wonderful and amazing things with the team in the short time that he's had almost a full turnover of the program. There's no doubt. But at the same time, and there's no doubt that he has excellent players. But at the same time, the media is jumping on this bandwagon hard, and I'm not a fan of the media at all. So you take what they say with a grain of salt. Take their opinions with a grain of salt, just like I'm taking these opinions I've heard with a grain of salt. And just I don't know. It's just going to take a little bit more observation, but I think there's a facade, and I don't necessarily like it. I don't like all the overly acceptance of what the world deems as good and popular. Obviously, I'm not into that at all. I don't listen to that type of music. Hey, you can listen to whatever music you want to. I think it's over the top, and what's happening is that, and whether this is intentional or unintentional, but Coach Prime has put targets on all his players' backs. Hence the reason what happened, on Saturday. Now, it was obvious that Travis Hunter was hit late. Obvious. It wasn't called targeting because he didn't use his helmet to hit him. He sure enough would have been suspended for that. He sure enough would have been suspended for that. But I think that he was penalized. And even Travis is like, hey, that's the game. Stuff happens. And every football player needs to understand that when you play football, there's going to be risks to that. And yeah, so there's going to be risks to that. So yeah. So it's just one of those things that, we just have to keep observing. But I think that the Prime effect, it obviously is working. and it's having positive impacts across many genres, but I'm starting to think that it's a facade. And this is nothing against his ability, Coach Prime's ability as a player, a former player, and his knowledge of football. I love that he's old school. I love it. I just think that it's a facade that, and I hope I'm wrong, but I just think it's a facade. I think that when you bring God into the conversation, you're held to a different standard. And right now, I think that standard is not being held because of the people that you surround yourself with. Now, he can't help the fact that he knows boatload of people, that his name and all that stuff attracts celebrities, and that they like him. They used to follow him when he was a player and all this other stuff. That's fine. But just know that when you bring God into a conversation, you're going to be held to a different standard. Whether fair or not, that's just the way it is. And when you're held to a different standard, then, you're going to be held to a different standard. And it's just not meshing right now. And the ESPN and Foxes and CBS, ABC, NBC, all the sports people, all the folk on social media are overhyping this team, making them out to be better than they truly are right now. And I see it now. I see that they're being overhyped because that Colorado State game was absolutely atrocious. Colorado State came to play. Colorado did not until towards the end of the game, that fourth quarter. And Coach Prime admittedly said they played like garbage. And he's right, they did play like garbage. They didn't make any improvements from the Nebraska game. Shedeur is still good. His receivers are still good. The one thing that was different is that tight end. I can't remember his name, 87 I think his number was. That was the only thing new. And that Shiloh, did what we knew he was going to do eventually. He admittedly said that even at this last year at Jackson, he didn't really get going until the sixth game. Not that he didn't make tackles, but, he wasn't, doing the things people expect him to do. So I'm glad he had a good game. The running game still is horrible. They ran a little bit better, but it's still horrible. And that has everything to do with the fact that they have an O-line that's not very good. They barely can keep Shedeur from getting sacked, let alone clearing lanes for running backs. So, it is what it is. Again, this is all just my opinion. I'm not a football analyst. I'm not considered a professional or an expert by no stretch of imagination. I'm just giving you what I see. I enjoy his son's videos. I enjoyed them better when they were more personal. When he was doing videos of him, of Coach Prime and his girlfriend, fiance. I enjoy those videos, the more personal videos of him and his dad traveling, and I really enjoyed those videos. I don't enjoy the football ones as much, but I understand it's football season, so of course it's all going to be about football. And again, he's promoting the team and doing a wonderful job at doing it. If I could do half of what he does on social media, it'd be wonderful. But I can't be as consistent as him. And of course, he gets paid to be consistent. So it's different when you're paid. When you're paid to be consistent. So, yeah, I think my opinion has changed a little bit. I like what he's doing. I'm not going to get on the bandwagon. Even though I have relatives that live in Denver, so I could be a Colorado fan. Because, Boulder's is literally right outside Denver. I don't know. We'll see. Like I said, I'm just seeing things a little bit differently after hearing the opinions of some other people and then looking at it for myself. I'm just not taking other people's opinions and then not watching it myself. So then I had to rewatch highlights and other things, and his son's videos, his son's highlights. So I'm watching videos that are going to be pro Coach Prime. I don't know. It just seems to me that it was just over the top. It was a contentious game. People, were, I don't know. It just seemed over the top to me. And that's just too much to me. And when they play the smaller schools, or if they ever play real small schools, like a lot of these Power 5 conferences do, they'll play an HBCU or something, as a gimme game. How do you think they feel? They come and they play and they got all these celebrities singing and money and, and all this other stuff. And of course it's done on purpose to intimidate. But, it's tough because when you don't have the celebrity and the money and the backing of community and everything else, it's tough. I live in the Birmingham Metro. I'm a UAB grad alum. UAB football team sucks. We won our first game and lost our last two. We got Trent Dilfer as our coach now. You got to give him at least a year to gel and do a thing. We're in a brand new conference. We're in the AAC, which after the Pac-12 collapses should be the next Power 5 conference. So thankfully we got out of Conference USA. We moved to a better conference. And now we, of course, have better competition. So we're not playing as well as we probably would have if we were still in Conference USA. And we finally get support of the city, but nowhere near what Colorado's getting. And, not even close. Stands are... I don't think I've ever seen a UAB game totally packed out. Ever. Because too many people are, Alabama Auburn fans. So UAB gets no love. We have little support. And so we understand what it's like to not get the full support and not have celebrities come out and we can't, we're not getting a bunch of folk in the stands. This is not happening for us. So that's kind of my take on it. I just wanted to kind of say that, and we'll see. We'll keep observing. There might be a part 3, but this will be part 2. And we'll see how it goes, and we'll kind of go from there. So we'll see. But until next time, I'll post this here shortly. Until next time, we'll talk to y'all later on. God bless you.